Yeah.
We are recording.
Yeah, it told me. The fucking computer narked on you,
Yeah,
man.
I know, I know. There's no privacy here. No, yeah,
uh,
no. So it was pretty bad though. I mean, and like fevers were pretty dangerous, and yeah, it was horrible. But
yeah, it's just
no,
I
man.
man, I just hate that feeling of like just like hey, you don't know. It's blind spot. It's all but I'm glad you came back because yeah, it sounds fucking gnarly. I haven't had it this whole time. You know, I decided to really go big leagues with my shit. You know, I'm fucking out with this fucking kid stuff. Fuck that. But
Yeah. No, no,
yeah,
I
I
didn't.
haven't experienced it, and my friends that have say it's hellish.
Yeah,
It's fucking
I didn't either. I mean, this is the first time. I mean, me and Nanako both. We lasted the 4 years without getting it, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden, bam, bam, we both got it. About she got it like 8 hours before I did, so I was able to take care of her a little bit before we were both like helpless.
Yeah, no, it's gotta, that's gotta, yeah. I mean, you know, it's good. At least you're able to kind of like put some things in order and such prior to,
Yeah.
but still, that's a fucking drag, dude.
Yeah. So onward and upward. So what do you want to what do you feel like you want to accomplish in this thing, and also once we get them on board here?
Well, you know, I'd really like to, you know, have a little blurb about, you know, I'm really proud of the record. Really
Yeah,
happy with
yeah.
how it came out. Very proud of the artwork that was done through Emily and Shawn's production of it and his work. Both of them being very talented and established authors and such, and illustrators, pretty cool.
Mhm.
Uh, and them coming out for me, I'm lucky. I'm lucky. I've got good friends that are always yourself included. That are always always cool to work with and expand my horizons, whatever I have. And I think Shawn is like phenomenal. He's a phenomenal artist, musician, etc. And he really brought out the best in me, well more than I would have been able to. And Emily is fucking fantastic as an artist and a writer. She's also the funniest person I know,
Yeah.
which is saying something because I'm friends with a lot of funny people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm wicked dark kid, you know. So
What so
yeah,
did Shawn actually engineer that, or I know that Bice did some work too, but did
yeah.
what is Shawn basically?
Sean did the main deal, the main production. He sat with me at the beginning when I just had like a collection of the songs.
Hmm.
Some were a lot closer than others, and kind of we went through and really talked about them. And he pushed me out of my comfort zone to play some stuff that I wasn't necessarily really comfortable with at the time. Because I was just like, I'm just gonna write a fucking punk song, dude. Fucking yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, it's like, and he's like, "What? This is a waltz," and I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Okay, like you know, weird, out of my realm, but I'm so proud of it now because it really shaped me in ways I didn't understand. And so he worked with me like all the time, forever, working on expanding these songs and fleshing them. And then when it got up to the point for me to record, he got me involved with his sister to fly out to LA and work in a studio with her for the main guitar, vocals, and stuff. And then after I returned back to Boston, he did all the recordings with me in private spaces and you know, basements and etc. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
kind of flesh it out, and then when it got to the point where it was ready to mix, I had already contacted Vice, and then Vice kind of stepped in, and you know, and between me and Shawn's ideas and me and Vice working together, and Vice's concept, you know, kind of skewed it that way. So I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. Now it's it's at 45 on vinyl,
Mm.
and it really does. I'm excited for you to hear it because it really there's like a low end and whatever fucking cliche bullshit, but like warmth and such that really comes from that 45 RPM and vinyl that
Mm.
it didn't really have before with the streaming.
Mm.
I think it's still good, but it's just the whole thing. It seems a lot more uh, uh, on purpose, like rather than like, I was like, oh wow, this sounds good, man. Yeah. So yeah, it was really, and the great stuff falling into Rare Bird, BU, the semi-famous, etc. Um, really, really meant a lot. Those guys are great, and I'm very, honestly, pretty honored to be associated with them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty cool, man. You know, and
So
this all came from fucking like us making a fake band out of like this all just started out of nowhere, which is so cool, man. Especially speaking of what I've been going through and such, it's really pleasant, albeit morbid timing
mm.
for this record, because the record itself is essentially about death. Like as I wrote it, it's like about my city dying and me not feeling that I felt there anymore. My marriage dying, my dad dying, et cetera, et cetera. And then of course, now I've got my own shit going on, so it's like
Yeah.
it's definitely pretty bittersweet, but also kind of beautiful in a way.
So one of the few credits I saw on the Rarebird page, it's very simple. That's just you, Shawn, Emily, and then your father is mentioned there as dedicated to the memory of William J. Brown. Yeah. So
I put both my dad and my mom because they both knocked off, but apparently they just put that because it was on the other thing. But
oh, okay.
whatever, it still is nice,
Yeah.
it's awful regardless.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's been a weird, heavy, fucking crazy year, man. As you know, because
Yeah.
you know me better than most. But yeah, finding out about this, like us coming together to work on semi-famous, outside of this, like with there being nothing involved, and then for it coming back to them being interested, and then me finding out that cancer and all this shit, like everything went fucking weird, man.
Yeah,
Or
man.
really weird for the last year. Which all things considered, I'm things are difficult, but as far as it goes, I'm in a pretty good place, which is nice. And I think in large part from being able to join up with you and your cabal, and and as well as doing this having this record released, between going to Chicago, between tracking this stuff, going to Chicago, working with you guys, and the record coming out, and actually getting some real appreciation for it. It made me feel like myself,
Mm,
you
mm.
and I didn't for a very long time. Prior to I did it before because I was all strung on drugs and angry and fucking whatever. Got over that shit, and then thankfully, like I had already really dealt with a lot of mental issues and substance use issues and such. So when COVID came, I was a lot better suited than I would have been. I would have done poorly, very poorly before. And then with my knee being fucked up, and then et cetera, mom passing away, and then fucking get cancer and all this shit. It's been one hit after the other. But by and large, I I'd like to cover whatever time I have, but I am actually pretty happy with what I've done and who I am and what I've given to people for whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
let's get a little, we got a few minutes before they come in, but
sure.
what's tangibly what was the, what or a few reasons for it to go from you working predominantly with bands to really digging into putting out like a solo thing? What was the impetus or what?
Well, I think in part it was very helpful that I've been playing in bands since the '90s, and mostly like hardcore bands, heavy bands, street punk bands, whatever, heavy shit. And then I kind of switched towards like writing a little bit stuff myself, and also to this band Deadly Sins I did with Vice, which was a lot more melodic than anything I've been used to. And I also kind of bounced off just band hoarding, filling in for different bands, and kind of kind of put me in a better place, I think, to be able to express myself this way. And again, with Shawn helping me, forcing me to do the weird shit. It really it it felt right at the time. Like it felt normal. It didn't feel I didn't feel like I was faking it. I felt
Hmm.
like I really thought about what I wanted to say and kind of thought about how it could be expressed. I needed help, and luckily I have enough. I have really really good friends. I have very good people in my life. I'm very lucky for that. And I had some very amazing musicians playing this. Everybody just did it, you know, because they wanted to help. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I ain't got no fucking money. Nobody's like, oh shit, I'm gonna work with Billy Brown and make a ton of money. That's not that's not my MO. Like you get a scam on somebody maybe, but that's about it.
Did you have specific ideas for songs, or did you just let some people just listen to all of it and have them decide what they wanted to do?
Yes, no. I kind of like I was saying, like there was definitely like a fair amount of like the song Catastrophe, which Shawn really forced me. I wrote it. It's a pop punk song. It is like it would be it would be a pop punk song. It'd be a great Sonic Fan song. It's a great pop punk song, I think. And he forced me to do again. I don't know, waltz, whatever the fuck, or fucking shitty fucking he brought up, but it but it's the type of thing. It totally took me out of my comfort zone because usually like it's like you just bang on it and hit it hard and move on.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of how I've always been. And instead, this was a lot more thoughtful, which is good. With it being that I wrote it during that time period, the end of the 2010s, and it was all released and finished, not released, but finished by 2012, I guess, something like that. That when I moved out here was fucking done, and it's weird because I like again I'm very proud of it, but it's I think it really came out at the right time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think it sounds a lot better now than it did at that time. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my own recollection. I don't know.
I'm
But
bringing Shawn into the room now. He's there on his iPad,
oh,
so I'm
killer.
gonna bring him in.
Nice.
So we'll admit Shawn now.
Bitch, how's that bad?
And so I am. So that's a good segue into his
Yeah, that was actually
helping
for a
with it.
time.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see if he
Yeah, we should see.
figures it out.
Like,
He's
Lee's,
connected. Oh, his audio is connected.
hey,
Hey
Shawn.
guys.
Ah,
Hey, Lee. We can't see your video, but we can hear you.
All right. How
there
about
it
now?
is.
Now you can. Look at you.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm wearing a patch.
You look great, Billy. You look
I
great.
actually, I just got to tell you guys, I love you guys so much. I actually got a new patch for today.
Yeah.
I had 2 patches in the box, and I was like, I kept on being like, oh man, the thing is falling off. Like I should get rid of it. I was like, I should save for Jughead. I'm gonna save the
Wow.
new.
Where I mean, is there actually a quality place where you get patches? Is there like a patch store or like
My
you
friend
don't?
Danielle just ordered them off of Amazon for me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Okay.
my things. I'm always discussing my daughter because I've always had a girl gang, and back in Boston, it used to be like real hot, tough, like bitches that could fight like a motherfucker, could beat up dudes, and they were like my homies. And then like now it's like I have all of these like women that are very smart and businesslike and able to deal with doctors to help me with my new cancer stuff. So just keep moving on. Just keep picking them up.
So Shawn, welcome. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Hey
I don't,
Jughead,
I
good to
don't
meet
think
you.
I don't know if we've met before. Probably not. I don't think so.
We have no,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's really cool to meet you.
Yeah, it was a good lead in because me and Billy were just talking about we stepped on to bring in other musicians, but he gave the lowdown about you working with him to like push the songs in the new directions. And but this is a while back now, right? Now we're talking 2000.
Yeah, we're testing all of our memories here. This is fun. Yeah, I don't know if Billy told you about the record release at all. Yeah, if you guys have trodden on that territory yet, but
no.
it was an absolute trip hearing the LP from front to back, in like on proper club speakers. It was the loudest I've ever heard it, and obviously coming from the actual record master, it was the best I've ever heard it too. Or I guess comparable with the studios that we actually originally recorded it in. But since then, I've just been, playing it like through my laptop while I'm working and stuff. So
I think that's what's really interesting. Billy was just touching on that too. They have something for so long, but never have it in the sort of the state of where he probably envisioned it to being finally on vinyl. And for people that know vinyl, they know that they can hear the difference, the deepness, like Billy was saying, and just how it brings out a lot more of the qualities of it. Did it make you like proud again over the work you had done with Billy on it? Like, could you?
I've always been proud of this one, and the feeling behind this record is like, just what a shame it is. No, not to put that burden on you, Billy, but just that it never saw its proper release. Really, it kind of trickled onto Bandcamp, disappeared. It was at a really difficult time, Billy, in your life when you were kind of moving coasts and picking up the pieces. It was like about that, but also everything kind of fell apart. It sort of turned to sand in your hands, and we just had this amazing record, but all of a sudden, for the first time in your life, you weren't on tour with 5 bands to promote it with. It was, I felt that I've razzed you for 10 years about this record needing a proper release because I think the songs are so damn good, but like I've always felt a little bit guilty about razzing you too because of everything you went through to make it.
Oh yeah, so. But there was a concept that it was going to come out at one point.
Well, how did it happen that you got Shawn to work on it with you? Were you two just good friends already and then wanted to do that, or how did that?
We became friends. He dated one of my best buds.
One of the members of his girl gang.
and she was like very insistent that me and him become friends because I'm like her older brother or something. Like I'm the one that protects her and shit, even though she can fucking protect herself. But still, me and her were very close. So yeah, when her and Shawn kind of came into each other, she got really into playing Shawn my stuff, and they had a very long drive across the coast. And I think by the time he came back, she had kind of broken him a bit. So we hung out, and he was like, "All right, man, I hear it. It's cool." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And that's how me and him befriended each other, and he's one of my best friends. As I said, I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
I showed up in Boston, and aside from Billy's friend who I was dating, I knew nobody. My dad was from Boston, so it was a little bit like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go to like this. I'm gonna move to this town where my dad is from, and kind of get in touch with like my Boston. Like I have some extended family over there, and I was like, this will be great. And then I showed up there, and I was like, I had just started a glam band, and so I was just like in a very purple sequins kind of phase, and I showed up and I was like, oh, this is a hard town. And really saved me from I don't know how much like actual danger I was in, but when you're getting sideways looks from every which way, you feel a little bit like, oh, should I tone it down a little bit? And Billy was like, don't tone it down, come hang out with me. So
yeah.
What gave Shawn, what gave you and sometimes it's not confidence, sometimes it's just the perception of confidence, but to think you could help someone sort of model their music, their songs, like what gave you that confidence or that impetus to want to do that with them?
Well, real quick, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Go ahead. You can answer.
I'll run with this, and we'll see. Yeah, it was an interesting time. About we're saying give or take 10 years ago that we were working on this, where kind of for the first time, I was recognizing the tools that I had. I'd been in many recording sessions, but like as a band guy, and really relied heavily on producers and engineers in professional studios with budgets from indie labels, etc. Like, and for the first time, like my laptop power, along with a lot of other musicians, I was realizing like, oh, my processor can kind of start to handle some of these, if I keep my sessions below 20 tracks, like I can kind of do this myself. I can kind of figure this out. So, I noticed a lot of my songwriter and musician friends around me also kind of having this discovery. So I don't think it was unique, and probably a bit brash to think that we could just like go ahead and replace all of the the achievements of the life achievements of all these engineers and producers that we had relied on for decades. But it was Billy had played in a bunch of punk bands and was like and had these songs that were the lyrics were just like so striking and well penned that I think the confidence came from like, well, we can kind of do if we can do a mediocre job on the production, then I think that the content of these songs will bring it the rest of the way to being acceptable. And then we actually ended up in basically every favor that Billy had, every favor that I had, to get Billy singing on high-end microphones, to get it mastered at the same place that any other record was getting that. So we actually managed to pull together, like, I think like a very great sounding record. But at the beginning, we were just kind of feeling our way into, cool, like I know how to hit record and you know how to write a great song, so let's figure this out. Yeah, we took a long time doing it. It was not efficient.
Yeah, that's what I think. I was wondering if was there actual stages, because I mean, Billy's has been mostly a band writer before that, and even me having done even in Blackouts, there's lessons to learn about doing things now acoustic and how different it is. Did you experience those sort of pitfalls, or like trying to understand how to construct something that's acoustic but still has energy?
I mean, I think like at that point, we knew that the songs with Billy playing them on just an acoustic guitar were like gave me goosebumps. Like I knew
Yeah.
that, and Billy knew that he was onto a group of songs that he had been protecting and not playing with this. You know, I'd kind of salvaged and saved these from, you know, from in various stages of other bands. It's just like, oh, this one's gonna really. This one is just like I can't figure out how to orchestrate this with this group or that group, or maybe is that accurate, Billy? I don't want to like speak for you
no,
there,
I'd
yeah,
say so. Yeah, like
yeah,
I was happy. When I came in, like there was some that like I had a good feeling about like being like very basic in their instrumentation and such. And then, as I said, like it's like things like catastrophe and whatnot. You turn that from a pop song into a fucking waltz or some shit. Like it's beautiful. I don't think I wouldn't have stepped that way
yeah.
uh, out of myself. Seeing it in hindsight, I totally understand it, and like maybe that's the type of thing maybe I would actually learn from perhaps in the future if I were to write something. I'd be like, oh, let me try something like this, But at the
Well,
time,
I didn't.
really,
Yeah,
that really fucking that just blew my mind. Even to this day, just listening to that song is like, yeah, I think it's really the the best song on the record, probably.
I love that one so much. It's my favorite too. But yeah, I mean, I remember I didn't have your trust from the get go. I mean, you know, it took, and that's why being afforded this sort of odd period of time where we had no deadlines and we were just making this record and feeling it out. You know, there were iterations of songs that were more filled out, had more instrumentation on it. We tried doing things more stripped down and then added instruments to them, took instruments off, and there was like, the record kind of found its center when we got maybe 6 or 7 songs into it, and I think you realized then like what the whole picture was.
Yeah,
um
definitely
yeah, and
the whole thing, especially because like I was very happy because I'm not really into old punk dudes doing acoustic records generally. Like I really like even Blackouts, but that's like its own animal. But like all these fucking things for like the dude from Avail and blah blah blah, they all sound like fucking like commercials for selling trucks. It's just it just sounds weird to me. Like it doesn't really have much heart. It's just like it's just not my thing.
yeah,
So that's why I was really, in large part, like I really like the things, some of the things we expanded upon, because now I don't feel like it's that record at all.
no, we're never gonna get a Ford endorsement.
Yeah. I don't drive, so I mean, like, I can crash things, but yeah.
Listening back to, like I said, I could only have the digital now because I don't have the vinyl here in Japan, but I was paying attention to, yeah, your strong playing, Billy, and it seemed to be both like dirty and clean at the same time, Shawn. Like it, like you can hear his picking, like all of it, which I love that sort of stuff, where because that's part of the rhythm when you're doing acoustic is like how you're
Oh
playing
yeah.
it. So did you have choices on how to mic that, or did you just got lucky with a lot of that, or did you?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, for sure, it was a concerted effort to keep the acoustic guitar and Billy's voice at the center, because just like hearing those songs in the practice space, like
Yeah.
it was very clear that that was the heart of the song. We didn't want the record to feel like old punk guy does acoustic kind of thing, like Billy was just saying, but at the same time, Billy's voice is so unique. I didn't want to bury it, but under walls of stuff, and like kind of for the first time, I wanted to hear like just every like little pothole and crevice in his voice.
Mhm.
And so we wanted to keep things keep from burying that. And then the acoustic guitar, actually, the way that sits the bass and treble kind of sit around Billy's voice. There's just like almost like a perfect mix of Billy playing in a room by himself. So it was really build around there. Like what won't pile on top of that and destroy the clarity of that. I think that's the part that you hear that is very clean. Mm-hmm. And then we just sort of built each song around that as they demanded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I think it definitely helped that you got me in because Shawn's sister engineered the vocals and acoustic guitar out here in LA. So since the two of them had, they've kind of known each other for a while, and like they seem to really understand each other. So Shawn kind of telling her what he was aiming for, I think was able to resonate with her better than just some rando. Mm-hmm. I think like she really kind of gets him. So between between them being able to talk, really kind of I think went really well. Helped quite a bit.
Yeah. Which part of that? Because you went to LA. We couldn't afford plane tickets for everybody to go. You went to LA to work with my sister. Were you tracked a lot of the vocals?
I did pretty much all acoustic and vocals.
Yeah. That's what we needed the good mic. That's what we needed the good mics for.
Yeah,
all of our yeah.
Exactly. And the Gibson I used, I forget what guitar it was, but it was fucking really nice. I definitely didn't use my usual crummer,
Yeah.
And does she still have a studio in California, or what?
No, she's up in Portland now. At the time she was like fresh out of music recording school. Mm-hmm. So she was like, give me jobs. I don't care how much they pay. Just give me work. I need to like build my resume. But she also like loved Billy's songs and understood it immediately. Yeah. But it was really easy to work with her. And I've played in bands and in a few bands with her as well. So we have a sibling shorthand. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would have felt really weird, Billy, about not having a plane ticket to go out and produce vocals with anybody else. I think I was at every other session that we brought in other engineers and players at. But yeah, that was when I was like, yeah, go with my sister. She knows what we need. So
yeah. It's going. You and Jake, your bandmate, you guys came by for like a night or two, but pretty much it was just me and Vanessa in there, I think.
Right. Yeah, I think we had a tour for part of it, and yep, but we got it done when we could. Yeah.
So now you're in California now too, Shawn?
I am. Yeah, I grew up in Northern California, and I just moved back.
Oh, you returned back.
So yeah, I lived in Boston. That's where I met Billy briefly, and then for a couple of years. Billy, how long did we work on this record? It was over a year, I think.
Yeah, I'd say well over a year. Yeah, because like I was so joking, like because when we got together, I had like kind of the idea. The record mostly was written, but I needed help. It definitely it was kind of perfect timing because I think I had pushed as far as I could up to a certain point, and then I needed to work with somebody, which was cool, man. It was great. It was in certain ways humbling, and in other ways, made me feel pretty good about myself.
Yeah, a lot of the favors that Billy like that we called in were people that Billy, I think that you would have you definitely had access to record this record with other people, and I think part of the appeal of working with me, Jughead was asking about like why I had confidence to think that I could produce this, but like I think part of the appeal was like any other studio that was set up for to block off a schedule, I'm sure a bunch of people would have given you a free 3 days, or given you like pay 50% or like a really great rate, but like there's nobody else I don't think that would have been able to spend over a year figuring out what the sound of this record was with you, right?
Yeah. No, it was very, very specific, and like, it's like it kind of coincided with, it's like our friendship growing, and you and Val's like relationship, and like everything was like kind of perfectly timed for, and I was everything had hit the skids so much otherwise in my life. I was like, fuck it, I'll do some music, like.
Yeah, I was in a town where I knew one person other than you, and she worked all day.
Yeah,
trying to be an artist and figuring out how to record stuff myself, and then you were like needed a place to go and escape all that and write about it. So it worked out really well.
yeah.
Well, I'm curious now because any projects you can work on for that long, and you're altering and you're working together, and then there's probably times where you're not working on it, and then you're working on it again. Did it actually get to a point where you felt you were done, or did you have that like artist perfection where you could tinker with it all the time, or
I want to say we worked
time?
No, there was never a clock, and I want to say it's nice that you would assume that we would like put it aside, come back to it, but I'm worked on it every day for a year or more.
Yeah.
I think we were pretty drained by the end of this. So it's like, it's good, man. It's better than we thought it would be. It's cool,
Yeah.
Then
if we weren't working on the record actively, we were drinking PBRs, listening to what we had done.
Yeah. So I still stick to my question though. Did you feel like it was done? Like, did you know it was done? Like, is that like you listen to each song?
I'm nodding right now, which is great for podcasting, but I'm waiting for Billy to say because he's the artist.
Wait, what was this?
I'm really trying to stick to the question of like, did you feel like it was done? Because you work on a project for that long, it becomes part of your life. Did it actually feel like you were done when you finished working on it?
I think, I think we were like at that point, it had already gone well above and beyond what I expected anyway. Like as far as the amount of effort that people gave to me and work and health. So by the time we were kind of feeling like it was wrapped up, we're like, all right, that's cool. We're good. We do what we can do. Like I think at that point I was just like, I've worked harder on this record than I have on any record before. So like this is about the top of my like cleanliness and godliness.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you do?
What was the last song? What was the last song that we added to the record, Billy? Do you remember? Like what? There's always that sort of like cherry on the top song that kind of lets you know that it's done.
Emily will be hitting us up in a moment. Yeah, I think it was probably Best Tragedies. I think that was the last thing I wrote. Yeah, I think, which was very fitting because it's the darkest song on the record and kind of pulls the record together, I think, and obviously became a lot more. At the time, I was writing it for my ex-wife, and now with the way my life has gone and things, now I'm like, oh shit, I wrote this for me, I guess. Fuck. I didn't really mean to. I should have written something better, like, hey, you want a lot of money or something. I should probably think of these things, but yeah, it's again, listening to it's pretty dark, which is funny. I'll say real quick before Emily gets on. So when she did the art for this, like the back cover, it's got this long beard guy, and it says "forget" at the bottom, and it looks how I looked when I moved to LA, and I worked at Thirsty Crow and all this shit, and it looked like that. And I remember the front cover, she had this bald guy, and I was just like, I'm not fucking bald, dude. Like, but like, Emily's cool. She's a great artist, so I'll just work with it. And then fast forward years later when this actually gets signed or whatever, and I'm in the process of having Shawn go through and help do the layout for those thing with Emily's art. We're both just like, holy shit, I have chemo now. I'm going bald. I'm bald. Holy, she's a fucking witch, man. She must have fucking known. Like, fuck, I should have had her do something better for me. Like,
And good timing, because there she is right there.
And there she is. Hello, Emily.
Billy, you keep on using the phrase better. You're like, I should have written something better. I should have had her do something better. I know what you mean, but there's nothing better than this. Oh man, I mean, I know what you mean. More positive, maybe.
Yeah. More positive, that's as far as I could go.
Hello, Emily.
Hey, hi. I am so sorry.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yeah, it worked out well. We got to talk to Shawn
living
for
up
a
to
while.
my name.
Yeah, we got to talk to Shawn for a while, so it kind of worked out nicely, actually. So
Nice.
and he actually just brought you up, just started talking about the art. So
yeah, I was saying how it was. I think we talked about this before, but how it was funny because at the time when you made the original artwork, I was just like, "That's weird. I'm bald in this. This is fucking weird." And then when I signed, I was going through chemo, and I was just like, "I'm fucking bald now. Holy shit, Emily's a witch. She fucking did this out." Oh my god! And
yeah. I'm a witch who uses her powers to give you cancer.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, I am truly God's own asshole.
Yeah.
Hey, you also gave him a really great beard on that back cover, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of, Billy, you ruled Silver Lake with that beard for a good handful of years.
Yeah.
Now you're pissed,
So how did Billy? How did Emily? Well, let's do it that way to get her talking. How did you meet Billy? Like, how did this come to be? You doing the work for him?
I've known Billy since I was a literal child.
Wow.
Billy, I'm gonna say we went to high school together, but actually, did we?
We did, but I was a few years older.
Okay.
And much shadier. But,
yeah, a little bit. Oh,
yeah.
So, all right. So we grew up in the same like punk rock scene. And listen, as I tell this story, if you're like, don't tell that story, just be like, shut the fuck up, Emily. But I'll start telling it. I didn't share this with you previously. But so I knew Billy, from around, went to shows, et cetera, et cetera. And then I think when I was like 17, which would have made you 19 or 20, probably. Is that math up? We were at a house party and I was saying, I was making my goodbyes. You came out, you tried to kiss me. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I have a boyfriend," which in retrospect, fucking lame boyfriend, but beside the point. And you said, "Yeah, sorry." And then he said, "What about your friend Amanda? Can I get her number?"
Yeah. And then I married Amanda.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I recall.
What a trajectory that was.
Yeah. That was nice. So like, we've been, obviously, you were in Baltimore forever and New York, obviously. Mm-hmm. And we kind of reconnected, whatever years ago. And then I was really lucky and very happy for you to work on this. And I'm told, I got no compulsion, compulsion. Words are weird. But I got nothing to say here, but I do think you actually are my funniest friend, Emily, and I'm friends with so many funny people.
I'm gonna need to know who the rest of your friends are before I decide if that's a compliment or not. For all I know, grips.
I'm not saying they're all good people, but they're funny.
Me and Jughead will just be over here, guys. If you want to,
that's fine. Yeah, we'll just be all serious in the background.
Right. Am I funnier than Jeff Ardiaco?
Yes. Yes, you're not as much of an asshole as Jeff Ardiaco. And he's really good at being a funny asshole. So, like, different people step in different things in different ways, but town to town,
they all contain multitudes.
There's so many times, like, you're saying something like, Jesus Christ, I'm like that's harsher than I would have said. That's fucking beautiful.
It's that milkmaid face of mine.
Yeah, it's disarming.
Yeah.
Billy, did you approach her to do the art specifically, or was it just came up in a conversation when you two were talking, or what?
Yeah. I had when the thing was together, and Emily had done some artwork for it while I was getting it done and stuff. Some stuff that I was able to use for T-shirts and fucking old CDEP thing I toured with, and some other things. And that's when I talked to her about doing lino cuts, like very specifically for this concept, this release, this record. Which again, I'm so happy now that it's on vinyl and it looks nice and actually is presented properly. Because you fucking like go to Bandcamp or some shit. It's like cool, but you don't feel it. It's like holding it. Actually kind of holds something a lot more.
I was wondering about
so good.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, I was wondering about I'm curious about the technique. It almost looks like a wood cutting, but what is that, Emily? What is?
Oh no, I am way too lazy to do woodcut. It's lino cut. So the same basic principle, but linoleum's much easier to cut into.
Right.
You cut the block, and then you can print it by just putting the paper on top and like rubbing it with a spoon or whatever works. But yeah, I still actually have all the blocks still from, what did we do this like 15 years ago?
Like that, yeah.
But as you can tell, I am kind of a hoarder. So, but I also still had like the digital files that I sent. So the takeaway here is never throw anything away ever.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was real scared about this entire thing. Like once it was like kind of like, oh wow, this is actually gonna get put out. I was like, I have to talk to people now and fucking figure out where the stuff is. Luckily you had stuff, and luckily Shawn was able to fucking help me with the design and stuff, so to kind of slap it all together and whatever. But yeah, at the time I was like, I hope this works, And I was lucky in this sense, It was cool.
Emily, had you heard the songs already when you started doing the artwork, or were you in your own bubble as to what you were going to do? Was there a discussion about it? Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember. I think he might have sent me the songs. I also might have just been going purely on vibe.
Yeah.
I just kind of figured, I know what he's putting down here.
I definitely gets it.
I think we established you had those like wild visions of the next 15 years of Billy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
I knew I had to speak his cancer into existence.
Yes. Your goals.
You already earned the funniest friend thing. You don't have to keep throwing barbs,
No, it's a constant battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely sent me the track listing, and I think I just kind of maybe some lyrics.
Yeah.
I kind of pulled from that.
Yeah, I think I definitely sent you some stuff, and also we had enough history together that kind of we knew each other's MO and stuff. It was it was fucking just really really strange that everything kind of panned out how it did, which is nice.
Did you live in LA yet, or were you still in Boston then?
We finished it in Boston, and then I moved to LA right away.
Right.
So probably 2012 is when I got here. And I think towards the end of 2011 it was finished.
Right.
But I had some management that wasn't going that great. She's a nice person, but it wasn't working. And then I moved out here, and I was supposed to move out to LA to get my shit together and do stuff. And instead, I just worked at a bar and did cocaine. So I didn't really do shit.
Is that what LA is for?
Yeah, I thought so.
Turns out,
it's funny. I remember telling people, like, because I was doing lots of drugs back in Boston by the time I left, and I remember talking to some friends of mine and being like, "Yeah, it's gonna be nice, man. We're gonna get to LA, calm down, work out stuff." And everybody's like, "You're going to Los Angeles, dude."
Had you been to LA or seen any movies set in LA or spoken to anyone who'd ever been to Los Angeles before?
I've been here a bunch of times on tour. Like I was very like it never went. It was always seedy. Like
right.
I always did something sketchy. So I don't know why I thought I'd change, but
maybe it would be so much in front of your eyes that you had no choice but to look away.
Yeah.
From the drugs.
For sure.
Maybe in your heart you just wanted to do a lot of cocaine.
I think that's really what it came to. It's like I just wanted the pep, I studied hard.
Emily, a lot of the work that I've seen of yours that I've inhaled in the night or two, a lot of it seems like you drive both the words and the images. Is it normal for you to take on a commission where you're drawing for someone else, or is that more difficult for you to do, or the same?
Yeah, I mean it depends. I do a fair amount of illustration, but I'm more writing and cartooning, especially at this point. When I first started out, I was doing more like straight illustration work. So like getting an assignment, getting the thing, and then creating the art for it. But yeah, at this point, I do much less illustration and more cartooning and writing.
Mm-hmm. So when Billy approached you, it wasn't out of character for you to just do something for someone else's conception.
No, wouldn't that be weird though if it was like I'm an accountant, but sure, I'll make some sad art for your sad record.
Yeah. You're bummed out, all right.
Yeah. Give me a few years, let me learn the craft, and I'll get back to you. Yeah. But no, it was very much in my wheelhouse of things that I did. Billy, I don't want you to feel weird about it, but you're not like the only record cover I've ever done.
Oh, okay. Now you know.
Yeah, I know.
It's cool.
I feel so cheap.
Yeah, well, me the first time.
No, I'm very cheap. It's cool. Oh man,
Billy. So I think. I can't remember if you were saying when this is released, this interview, whether you have been telling people publicly about the cancer. Is this more of a?
This is actually the first time I've spoken publicly about.
Yeah.
My MO has been, my friends know, my close friends know, and they're totally allowed to tell whoever that might need to know or want to know. But in general, I haven't spoken publicly about it, in part because I wanted to see how things went, and not like to. I didn't want to fucking talk to people. People are fucking annoying. It was like, they're fucking boohoo bullshit. I don't need to fucking. I'm not here to make somebody fucking feel better about my cancer. Like, they should figure their own shit out. But it's gotten to the point now where I have lung cancer, and it's kind of it's doing okay, I guess, for right now. It's not getting worse at the moment, but the cancer seems to have spread to my brain somewhat, which I'm getting an MRI for with contrast and stuff. So they'll be finding out better about maybe there's a possibility of if I have MS or something, or just through immunotherapy, it just kind of looks all fucking weird in the head. But I can't really see very well. Can't type very well. My balance is kind of fucked up. I'm using a cane. I'm like a fucking disease pirate. But it's kind of gotten to the point where, honestly, now that I'm fucking selling a record, like, fuck you, buy my record. I have cancer. Like fucking, I'll say cold bucks out of it. And yeah, it's at a point now where it's so very obvious. Before, I pretty much just looked normal. I was bald for a while, but otherwise I looked normal. Whereas now, me walking around, walking down the streets and stuff with a cane and eye patch and stuff, it's very noticeable. And now that I'm not really fucking with social media or anything anymore because I can't really use my fingers for shit. So I have friends that they'll post like Team Billy Brown stuff, whatever, to kind of help me push things. But now more people have started to see in the wild like images of me with an eye patch and stuff. So people are starting to ask about it, and I just kind of figured I think I waited long enough to actually speak about and I'm also in, like I was saying, I'm actually in a fairly good place. Not a good place, but mentally and emotionally, I'm feeling very lucky, very fortunate for the people I do have in my life, who look out for me, and the type of people that help me with things, and I do feel very loved, and I'm very lucky in that sense. So I'm okay with it, man. And also I've done a lot of fucked up shit, but by and large, I've helped a lot of people, so I'm okay. That's kind of where I've been sitting at lately. Is I'm feeling pretty okay as far as it goes. As shitty as things are, I'm feeling pretty good. So, yeah.
But I want to ask the it's not the hard question, but it's the question that's like, ooh, let's turn this cancer into the story of this record. But I do feel like you even said to me that you talk a lot about death and tragedy in it, and then now you're dealing with it more directly instead of like about other people that you said a lot of the songs were about. Do you actually tangibly feel a difference in how you're looking at those lyrics? Like, do you actually sit there and think about how it relates
actually.
differently to you?
It's weird. I try not to be like too heavy-handed about it, but everything does touch me much differently than than I saw it before. That really kind of, this was supposed to be like a very specific piece of my life, and now it kind of seems like it's kind of grown into where my life is now. Through, I think sometimes I probably it's more intentional for me to think that way. But it does kind of register a lot more these days with everything, and just saying like just all this memento mori bullshit, and you sit around, you actually think about death and dying, and what pittance you've left, and and whatever you've done for people. It definitely puts a lot in perspective, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like miserable. I'm not fucking crying myself to sleep. I'm not fucking doing anything. I will sit and have some pretty heavy thoughts, think about some pretty dark stuff, or some very stuff that takes a lot of concentration of thought. But but I'm not I'm not feeling it that way. I'm feeling, by and large, I wake up and I'm kind of happy with myself. Also, I used to hate myself. I was strung out on drugs constantly, and I just wanted to die constantly. I died once, 14th. That couldn't kill me. Who knows what's gonna fucking kill me. So the fact that I had already been through a lot of work between therapy and me changing my lifestyle and substance abuse and such, it really put me in a place where able to handle the shit, you know. Because like when my mom passed, I wouldn't be able to handle that a couple years ago, but I'd already kind of worked through things, so I was in a place where I could really deal with it, you know. So, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, yeah, this is all for it.
And forgive me if you covered this before I got here, but like, what was it about this specific album that you're like, this is what needs to see the light of day? You know, like if you're at a point where it's like, you know, time might be of the essence, like, was there a reason that this was like a particular like thing you needed to get out?
I think two reasons. First and foremost, I thought like it in some manner, you know, and I can't speak for what other people think of it, but for myself, I thought it actually is kind of important due to the what I'm going through and how much it like coincides with myself and the life, and also because I had so many people come through, you know, yourself, Shawn included, come through and work so tirelessly, so hard for nobody because I'm fucking poor. Like fucking like to help me with this thing. So many fucking friends from bands. You know, people that make really good money otherwise, but they just wanted to help. So I really always felt like it was unfortunate that I wasn't able to follow through for what everybody had done for me, you know. And when I got the opportunity and the label Rarebird publisher, when they started talking to me about it, I was like, oh God, wow, like, yeah, fuck it, man, let's do the record, you know. And they said okay, you know, like it's fucking great. So you know, I'm lucky in that sense too.
Yeah. Well, I think our weird combination of, you know, you and I have been friends for a while, but when I came out, we decided to work on this weird semi-famous project. I think my instinct to want to get different people that may not have worked together before working together, I think also helped introduce like Tyson to you, like people that had never heard your voice before. Or
oh yeah,
I think it re-sparked a little of interest in at least people I know that were excited to hear something from you.
Like the fact he had actually, because you had turned him on to me, he had gone and researched me. And so when I met him at the studio, he had already listened to the record and he really loved it. And so obviously, like, I did have to talk about like what the specifics were and, you know, the money and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't have to pitch him. You know, like he was already, you know, once I was like, yeah, I'd like to do this, and blah, 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 he was down. It wasn't like, oh man, check this out. And like, who knows if this person will actually listen to it or not, or whatever bullshit, you know. It was like he was actually totally on. So yeah, that was cool, man, because I didn't feel awkward and weird. Like he made me very comfortable. You know, the label was fucking great.
Billy, I don't really have much more, but I liked what Emily that you threw out a question. Does anybody have questions for each other? I mean, this is one opportunity where whether it's me supporting Billy with the project or you two working on it, it seems like a cool moment to just have all you together. So I don't know if there's something you wanted to say to each other or a question.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. This is the classic. Like, does anybody have a question, and then I have a comment. But and I can't think of how to pose it as a question. But I think that like, to piggyback off of Emily, what you just asked about why this record felt important. Like, it's also, I think, maybe of note that of all the bands, Billy, that you had played with and toured with and written songs with, this was also the first time that you put out a record and the artist was your name. Like, I remember you kind of like wringing hands about, wait, do I sell shirts that say Billy Brown? Is that weird? Like, and you
I
always
was so
had this...
annoyed when we were gonna do my name. I was like, oh.
Well, I know, and I think
it's
that you always had...
like, yeah, it's a great name for a fat guy in like country music, you know, like it's like every fucking guy in field. Really,
you search the record on Spotify, you have to scroll past a few of those guys before you see Emily's album cover. and find your record. But like, yeah, I think that's also part of why it took so long to like release it, because you were alone. You were kind of like, it was a autobiography, and it was kind of the same kind of cagey way that you're like, I guess I can't really hide that I'm getting treatment for cancer right now. It was just sort of like, this is very personal. And we spent so long making the record, and you brought your closest friends in on that process, me and Emily and a bunch of other people that were on the inside. But then when it came time to put that out, you were like, oh my God, but that's me. That's Billy Brown. And I think that felt really weird to you.
It did. Even like touring or playing shows, if you're like, hey, so I'm Billy Brown, and there's Joe, and there's Deirdre, and there's other people here. I mean, I know it says me, but there's other people. I would not sound as good if they were here. Like, I don't know. Fucking weird, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, Billy, your heart.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's part of, I've given you shit about not putting out the record for 10, 15 years. We're having trouble figuring out exactly when we made this, but yeah, I've always like loved that the modesty that that was underlying that was always part of why I've always loved you too. You know, I mean, it's just I prod at you, but I also know that is essentially Billy Brown. I'm so glad it's out now, and it does feel like essential that your autobiography got published, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man. It does mean a lot, you know. You know, I try not to sap on too much, but it really is great. You guys don't mind, can you guys tell me what you each got going on? Like, so you got the next Cat in Space book coming out?
Yeah, it's directed to me. I like Emily. I've stepped into your field. I make comics too, and write.
Isn't it horrible?
But for kids, yes, terrible. It's terrible.
For the children.
Yeah, less autobiographical than maybe you and Billy are doing. Mine's about a cat in space eating pizza, but you know.
Well, truly, is not all art autobiographical on one level.
No, it is. I am that cat. Never getting to eat a slice of pizza. Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome.
We have the book has just to finish the self promotion that you started. Thank you, Billy. You didn't have to do that. Well, the book has a record. So that's if you want to hear my latest production, there is a record that goes with it. Maybe your 6-year-old will like it. Cool. Next.
Cool. I'll have that in the links. Emily, what's your current project too that you're working on?
Yeah.
I have a book coming out on Halloween. It's a creativity deck about how to write and draw jokes. And I am putting on a comedy festival in Williamsport, New York, which is where I have this house that I run as a writing residency for women in comedy. So that's also in October. It's gonna be busy in October. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The only time I've met you is when Billy took me to your show in LA, and I was like one of 30 people that like wanted, you know, to shake your hand after the show. You were so funny.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, at Nerd Melt, right?
Yeah, Nerd Melt. That's no longer there, but yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun.
With that Pee-wee's Playhouse guy or whatever, I think, right? Like he did art for Fred 62 where he
Wayne White, right?
Wayne White, yeah. Yeah, and Mimi Pond, I think Liam McEnany had put that show together. Lori Kilmartin, Jesus, why do I remember this? Or maybe this was a different show.
That show was so good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Billy, is there any more steps in the record? I know that Rare Bird is pretty much like a hands-on. You know, they have budgets for like putting stuff out, but then it's almost in the hands of the people themselves to get it out.
Pretty much. Well, they were kind of like when I talked to him, like I went in for a meeting and I was like, hey, so this is great. Like, I'm going to talk to your press lady and all this stuff. And I'm like, so like, what should we do? And what's going on? And they're like, you called this meeting, dude. And I was like, what? And they're like, we're here for you. And I was like, they're like, so what do you have to say? And I was like, I haven't drank enough coffee or anything to really talk right now. Okay. And then there was a lot of like, well, hit up your people and push it. It was awesome, having you doing this, Jughead, and Shawn and Emily, you guys being part of it. Try and hopefully I can get some of your people to maybe even listen to the record sometime. But it was like kind of like I was like, I played in like hardcore and thrash bands, man. Like a lot of my people aren't turning over from this. Like, it's like I can have some of the punks like pitch it, but it's not going to be the same thing. I really don't know who to sell it to, buddy. like you guys are book people. You can figure it out, right? You fancy beer burgers. But yeah, they have been great. They're very happy about us pulling this together, and they'll be able to put it on their podcast thing, you guys know, and such.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things. I don't know. I'll speak and then Emily. You can. One of the things that I think is cool about it being almost on a lit label is that I think people that buy it probably actually pay more attention to the words than you would like selling a normal record at a record label.
I'm really proud of the lyrics. So I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if somebody actually reads it. Or they're like, oh yeah, there are words on the paper. It's fine.
At the listening party, it was really neat. Just looking around the room, just seeing everybody with their lyric sheets out, like flipping them at side B. Yeah, it was cool.
That is really neat.
The listening party went fantastic, man. I was very, very happy and surprised by how many people came out and how into it everybody was, listened, and like fucking applauded and shit, and bought records and fucking people like. Because the whole time I was just like, okay, well, this song, people are going to leave for this one. They're going to go smoke a cigarette or fucking get a beer or something. And I'm like, they're still in there. It's so weird. Like, you guys are like hanging out. Like, I'm not going in there because it's weird, but I'll stand outside and be like, look at you guys. That's nice.
One funny thing that happened was when we dropped the needle on the record, everybody forgot that the record is pressed at 45.
Yeah.
It was like chopped and screwed down. They're like, whoa, his voice is gnarly, but this is like heavy. It's like,
I was in the bathroom and I was like, I think this is wrong, man.
He was being all modest in the other room, like didn't want to like get in people's like face as they're listening to his music, because we all know that's a nightmare when the songwriter is watching you listen to their song. So he went like right around the corner. And then so he like came in with his cane, like waving his cane in the air, like, oh, 33.
Yeah. And then she changed the speed, but my friend Holly lower. But she flipped the record. So I was like, it's actually the wrong side now. I can't believe we had to start this again. Like, sorry.
But then actually the record finished, and everybody went out to smoke, but like those who stayed inside listened to it like 3 more times on repeat. It's so good. It
was cool, man. That was a great place to do it too. Because it's like a very, very LA place. But nobody would ever generally go there because generally it's either filled with Dodgers fans, which is fucking awful, or dance people. Like they do dance nights there, so those people are even
well. That's why the sound system was so great. It was the biggest system we ever checked the record on, and I was pleased to say
that's like. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of Venn diagram. Like,
yeah. It's funny because every time I'd go in there for my friend's happy hour that I threw it at, I would literally be the only person in there. So I'd be like, no matter what, I'm gonna look good. Even if 5 people show, they're gonna make more money today than they would have. And It turned out a bunch of people came, so it was cool.
And as soon as
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you have been waiting for a while.
No, what I wanted to ask, and is like the trajectory of your life in the past 5 years or so, just like the unexpected kind of like turns that it's taken, is that something that you are or even want to like write about, speak into a recorder about, like, you know, like, is that something that you want to like put into something?
I think I'm
Or
at
are
a
you
point
just still
where
like, I'm just living it and still processing it, like, shut up, Emily?
I think I'm at a point where I could and would enjoy to do that.
Mhm.
For a very long time, it was too close to like too fucking on top of me.
Sure.
But I've had enough time where I've been able to kind of, I guess, process the different things I've gone through, where it's not as uh bleak and scary, I guess. Like I could, I'm not at a point where I really know what to say, but I think
Right.
I'm at a point where I'm ready to try to figure it out. You know?
Because I
Uh,
think sorry.
uh,
No, I think the thing that really strikes me, like every time that I've really talked to you since like kind of since you've gotten sick, has just been like, I'm gonna be so gross here. The grace um, that seems to have descended on you in terms of like, you know, like your outlook and the acceptance of it. And obviously, you know, I'm not with you 24 hours a day, so I don't like, I don't know what your dark periods look like, but
yeah.
you know, like you said, this is happening to a different Billy Brown than the one I knew 10 years ago, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you know, that's something. Um so yeah, I mean it is really like a remarkable trajectory.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my hope is because I'll be going into I'm going to be starting either either radiation soon or something similar thereof, which may help me. According to them, I don't believe anything until it happens because people are just full of shit. But uh, but hopefully it's going to help me like come down from some of the issues I'm dealing with my eye and my hand and such. Which would A mean I could type, so I could actually write something, and B really hopefully because there's possibilities of some tours and some cool stuff with me and Jughead and whatever that to play to be able to like play because I played in Chicago. We did a couple shows together, and it I got through it pretty good, but it was a lot of work and I need to do that same work again. There's a lot to do. But yeah, I definitely I definitely feel like I'm starting to get to a point where I might actually be able to say something that is worthwhile about this stuff.
One of the things, Billy, I remember before this even went down that I think you had, I wouldn't even want to say struggling, but it seems more like experimenting with trying to figure out like your format, like a lot of like of us that are creative in many different aspects. It seems like you're still trying to figure out what kind of content you want to put out, you know, like, and it's
Oh yeah, I remember me you talking about that. Like, I got really into like drawing for a while and stuff. And I was like, "So this is my
yeah.
new thing." You're like, "All right, dude." Okay, you're drawing dad jokes on comic strips, like And now it's like now you have a comic strip about fucking about you and a little bag of cocaine that's your friend and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
So me, sometimes that's the hardest part is trying to figure out, even though you have the what you want to say in, you know, or the stories, how do you want to present those? That seems like sometimes a difficult battle.
yeah. There's also like things. There's I'd like to be able to do that. I'm just not quite equipped for, not quite talented enough for, haven't invested enough time in it.
Mhm.
It's not like art and stuff like that's just like something I really enjoy doing, but it's not. It takes me a long time to do anything. Like I had to really put my mind to it to, in order for anyone to look at it like it's a normal person that just like doodled something. But but yeah. No, I'm. And like again, a big part of this is like between semi-famous and the record and stuff. Now, I'm feeling a lot, in general, a lot closer to and adjusted with music again, which I wasn't for a long time. You know, like I didn't really feel like myself out here for a very long time. You know, I was just kind of fucked up all the time. Just, you know, I did my various little spiels and bands or filling in for different stuff, but it wasn't anything serious. I didn't really. It wasn't how it used to be. You know, and now I feel like I'm a bit back to myself, which is nice. You know, nice knowing yourself again a bit. You know.
I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon, but does anybody is any comments or questions?
I only have questions that I'm sure have like 35-minute answers. I'll call Billy after this.
Yeah.
We'll make our own FaceTime. You know?
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for participating in this, and I know we all appreciate Billy's work, and we love helping him out. So hopefully this
like, seriously, thanks all three of you. Like, I love you guys. Really, as I said, I am very lucky with my life and the help and the care they've given me. You know, and I don't forget that. So
it was an honor to have been a part of this. So thank you. Seriously.
Yeah. Thank you, Billy.
I noticed. You know, I got that going for me. I know terrible people too, but I know. You know, those are the terrible people I yell at, so it's fine. So it is.
That's one of the functions. You're the bridge, like protecting the.
Yeah. Except for I keep on wanting to swing my cane at people in public, and I probably shouldn't, because I'd probably fall. But people are such douchebags, man. You know, like it's amazing just like if you get really hurt, you walk around, just how shitty people are and how disrespectful. You know, whatever.
I noticed at the party, it like when you were approached on your patch side, this sort of like punk show of somebody like bumped into you at your party. Everybody knew you, but if you came up on your patch side, you'd be like, "Who the hell is that? Who? What? Oh. Thanks for coming. Love you." Like,
yeah. Oh, for sure. All right. I think we're pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have some outro music? What do we go out on?
No, I'll just I'm probably going to keep Billy just for a little bit longer, but I can let you two go, and then I'll finesse it and edit it up and send it to you all.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So thank you, Shawn. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
See you again, Emily. Thank you, Jughead. Bye, Billy.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, feel nice for you?
It did. I'm really, really happy for you guys to meet each other. They're both phenomenal writers and illustrators, and likewise. So I think you know, they're definitely the type of people. You know, fucking obviously you're out here, Shawn's up north, but also you know, you end up in New York anytime. You know, fucking I'll put you in touch with her because they're both really, really talented, interesting people.
Yeah. I hope that's okay. I didn't really know how to completely structure it.
I thought it went really well. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I really don't know how to do this because we're doing 4 people, and you know, it's like we haven't had to talk with them before, so it's like kind of like, but it actually felt good to me. You know?
Yeah, what I was trying to do a little bit was more like wrangle, like let you guys ask you stuff, friend stuff, and then I'd throw in the like technical questions. So that's kind of like how I was trying to face it.
Yeah, no, I think that went very well. You know, and I was glad. Yeah, like we were here for a bit. I was like, you know, just because she has a 3-hour time difference, I'm just gonna text her real quick. And I was like, hey,
Oh,
I'm serious.
yeah.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh,
I'll be
she
right
forgot.
on. Okay, she's gonna be right on, dude.
Well, I mean, actually, I was going to suggest that to begin with anyway, to sort of stagger it so we could like learn each person. But so it actually kind of worked out, I thought.
No, it did. It did. I think it was good, like us getting a chance to, kind of jam with Shawn about the actual recording and
Yeah, yeah,
production
yeah,
and stuff. And kind of bring Emily in after Shawn and be able to say more, talk about the art and stuff.
yeah,
Really, really lucky. And just really cool of them to fucking sit in anyway.
yeah,
At
yeah,
the time, I was like, it's like, I knew they'd come through, but still, it's just very nice to have it happen. You know,
mm-hmm.
especially with her flying out tomorrow and like hauling ass between your schedule, dealing with all the insanity in Japan, and Emily's like kind of fucking crazy schedule over the next few days. And luckily, Shawn was pretty free. Like we were able to pull it together because at first I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work or not, man. Like I'm pitching this. I talked to Rarebird, and Rarebird kind of Tyson talked about me doing the interview with you, whether it be your thing or be a fucking Rarebird's thing. And I was like, that makes sense. I was like, if I'm actually going to talk about my health, I need to talk to somebody I trust.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise it's going to be. I was like, either I need to talk to somebody I trust, or you need to get me on something like big, like big, like big.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you guys are about to fucking offer that. I don't think so. I really should talk to somebody I trust, because otherwise it's gonna come off as awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for being able to do this, because like I said, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have had a very easy time talking about this type of stuff
Yeah.
otherwise.
And now I guess the last thing we should probably say, when you come on for a little while with Polly, I think we're just gonna. My idea was just to introduce her audience to you. I mean, just talk about semi-famous. You don't have to talk about any of that serious stuff. We'll drop some word about the record, but I think the cancer stuff we don't need it, unless you want to talk to Polly about it live.
I'm
But
going to. I'm open to whatever you guys need, just so this is clear.
yeah.
But as far as I'm expecting is any semi-famous type stuff, as well as the fact that me and you did this and it'll be coming out. So,
yeah. That's what I think we'd have you on. We could just have fun talking about semi-famous, and you all coming out, and then we'll probably end it with saying that then you played all solo songs, and you played some songs that you've just re-released again on vinyl.
Yeah. We can talk about the Chicago.
It has a natural progression for that, so I think so.
For sure. And you're thinking 9 or 10 on Monday?
Well, I got to find out whether I can get back from work in time to make the 9. She wanted to do a little earlier than 10, so I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
But it'd probably be.
I can come in.
It'd either be like 9:20 or 10:20.
Sure.
Somewhere around there.
Just let me know, man. I'm gonna keep Monday night free for you, so I'll be available whenever.
Okay.
So
all right. I should know. I go back to work tomorrow, so I should know by tomorrow. Yeah.
All right, cool. Did you talk to Tyson about what the construct of this thing for their site and stuff is?
Well, as you probably know, like it's hard to he's a man full of ideas, but it's hard to get him to actually get something done But so I don't know. He said they're rethinking their podcast, so I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I don't know if he wants to release this as his rethought idea on the podcast, but I'll just start editing it down and then talk to him.
All right, cool. And then we'll kind of ascertain like whether I should be sending to them or to you. Like I've got some like new press photos of my iPad and shit, just whatever, just for whatever promotion. And then my thought is I'm going to try and talk to a friend of mine taking help with the social stuff because I'm bad at it these days. And I'm just trying to, once we kind of figure out when this would be coming out via that or whatever, put out re-put out the two podcasts from prior, leading up to it, you know, like, so it's like, oh, and I did this. So we talked a year ago about blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there was another one, which is like kind of horror stories, blah, blah. And now a few days later, here's the fucking new thing. And, you know, trying to build some people up to it, you know.
Okay.
However, yeah, if you think of anything, let me know. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass. I'm just like, okay, so I got two people that'll post it, you know, like, yeah, you got the two other kids to fucking, they'll post it on their things. Hopefully I'll find some people there too, you know?
Yeah. Well, I know that I got it. I have to get a podcast out Tuesday. So the poly one, I'm going to turn right around right away. So I'm hoping I'll be able to talk to Tyson and know what we're doing with this, so I can actually say it on that episode.
Yeah, that would be ideal. If we can,
but I mean, I'm publishing this immediately to like the Patreon, but that's just like a few people here and there that'll see it.
Sure.
But just to get some word out there already.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, no, this is great, man. This at first I was, it's funny because at first I was like, oh man, we're gonna do this Wednesday. Shit to do, blah, blah. And I was like, wait a second, I'm just gonna do it, and then it'll be done. You know, like, because I actually went to sleep last night and everything. Like, ordinarily, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna think about this for the next 5 hours. What am I gonna say about cancer? Like, this is weird, man. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, I'm too busy. I was too busy today, so it was like 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
I
will say it did seem kind of natural for you, like, and not really thought out in a good way. So.
Well, it's also I'm comfortable talking to you, so that's you know, had it been somebody else, it would have been very awkward, especially with my friend. It would have been weird, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, whereas like, you like, as I said, like, you guys are all three very very similar people. We're all the same types of folks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Billy, I'm gonna let you go. So, but I'll keep in touch with so I'll send Tyson a message today and see what he wants to do.
Fuck yeah. And seriously, again, thank you so much again. This it really means a lot to me.
Yeah, well, it means a lot to me too, Billy. So
thanks, brother.
All right.
Yeah, we'll touch base. Hit me up, let me know what's going on.
Yep.
See you soon.
All right, Billy. Bye-bye.
Hey, bro. Love you.
Love you.